Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitam Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe. My name is Vrindavan Das, and I'm starting this channel to speak about and discuss the teachings of a divine personality by the name of Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Gosvami Maharaj, and we affectionately call him Srila Gurudeva, with the title given to him by his guru, Bhaktabandhav, which means the friend of all devotees. And so I wanted to take some time and read from some of his lectures that he's given. And this is a very large topic that has a lot to be discussed about it. So I want to make many videos reading from these books. There's devotees, people that have been transcribing these lectures, and I'll just give a little introduction as best as I can to begin sharing all of this knowledge with the world. It's again, it's a very large topic and a very large subject, and I'm just now starting to begin sharing it. I've been hearing these lectures myself for at least the last 5, 6, 7 years or so, and trying my best to absorb myself in understanding this knowledge. And so I'll do my best to help myself understand this and also help others understand it. So bear with me and thank you so much for being here and for listening. And I really hope that any amount of this can provide any kind of inspiration to others, or some kind of perspective, or give anybody any kind of knowledge with which they can begin to understand more about what is this world and why are we here, and what is the meaning of our lives, and how can we really be happy in this world. And just this is knowledge given by Srila Gurudeva that's been passed down for eternal time, given by the Supreme Lord through disciple and guru, passed down from time without beginning. And so these are the secrets to the universe and understanding what is reality, what is illusion, and who we really are, why are we suffering in this world, and again, how we can really be happy. Because Srila Gurudeva, he would say, every single thing that anybody does is always with the idea that by doing this thing, I will be happy. By getting married, I will be happy. By making money, I will be happy. By doing this thing, I will be happy. So he would say that all living entities, they're looking for happiness. He would ask an assembly of people, raise your hand if you want to be unhappy. And nobody would raise their hand. And he would say, because I can make you unhappy if you would like. I can give you a slap, or I can do anything, and I can make you unhappy. But nobody actually wants that. Nobody wants to suffer. Nobody wants to undertake so much misery and pain and grief and sorrow. We're all actually trying to avoid all of these things. And we don't want to be in anxiety. We don't want to be in fear. Srila Gurudeva would say that all living entities are looking for love. He would say that love is the eternal religion, and that you see love everywhere in this world. All living entities, they have some sort of loving relationships. He would say even animals, very fierce tigers and bears, they have love for their bear wives and their tiger wives or husbands and their children, and they lick them very affectionately. And he said even creepers and trees like that, they have love for each other. They have like husbands and wives, and they're embracing. And so really all living entities, they're looking for this love. And it's a very deep subject. There's so much to say about it. Srila Gurudeva, he would say that there's no like pure love in this world. There's really only lust. And so lust is, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that lust is the all-devouring enemy of this world and the people in this world, because lust means that we're trying to enjoy our own senses. There's a verse in our scriptures written by one author named Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, where he's in a book that he compiled about the life and teachings of a great devotee in our line who is actually an incarnation of the Supreme Lord by the name Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he descended from the spiritual world to, God himself. He came and he wanted to teach all the living entities, again, how they can be happy and how they can be liberated from this material existence of, birth and death, where everyone is taking birth and having so many diseases and, again, dying and getting reborn again. And there's so many things to say. I'm finding it difficult to stay on one topic, but basically, Srila Gurudeva, he's coming and he's opening our eyes to all of these truths and all of these, the process that we can actually follow to be happy. And so Gurudeva would say that everyone is looking for love. And he would say, if we can't find any nice girlfriend or boyfriend, then we'll find any dog that we can love. And we find that so much in our culture. So many persons, they're having dogs. And that relationship is very sweet and very beautiful between dog and master. The dog is very loyal and very sweet and kind and loving towards each other, and hopefully, very obediently is serving. The dog is serving the master and carrying out all of his orders. But so that's one form of love. That's one, aspect, one avenue that one can go down to experience that loving exchange. And so ultimately, please forgive me, my mind is going in so many directions, because there's so many things to be said about every one of these topics. But I'm going to let Srila Gurudeva do a lot of the, speaking. We'll read from his words, and I want to gradually read through all of his lectures and try and share that with everybody who's watching. So Srila Gurudeva, just as some quick background, he was born in India, and it was perhaps around, I'm not sure exactly when he was born. It might have been around the 40s, 1940s, in a village in India. Might have been around the 1950s. I'm really not exactly sure, but he recently left our material vision and left this world in 2010, December of 2010. And so during that time, he was growing up in his village, and eventually, when he was very young, perhaps around the age of 20 or so, around that time, again, I'm not exactly sure, he left his home and went in search of a spiritual master, and really he had come in contact with many different devotees of Krishna or God, and that told him about their devotional practice. And gradually he came in contact with his guru or his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, and then completely surrendered his life, dedicated his life to serving his guru and his spiritual master, and dedicated himself to the practice of bhakti yoga, which is the practice of completely absorbing oneself in service to the Supreme Lord in so many different ways, by hearing about the Supreme Lord, by speaking about the Lord, by remembering Krishna and serving him in so many different ways. And so then after, so many years of doing that, he was traveling all over India and preaching this philosophy of developing one's love for Krishna and one's relationship of intimacy and affection with the Supreme Lord. And at some point, he came to the Western world outside of India and traveled all over the world to continue spreading these teachings of Vedic knowledge throughout the world to all who were willing to hear. And there's so much to say about all of that. Before Srila Gurudeva came to the West, there was one personality by the name of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and he came out of India in about 1960, 1961, 1962, and he came to Boston in America, and went to New York, and he came carrying all of these same teachings that he had received from his guru, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur. And so I know all of these names are very unfamiliar to many people, and gradually we will come to understand more and more and get more familiar with all of these names. But all of these personalities, these gurus and disciples, they are known to be transcendental persons that have come from the spiritual world and have realized the spiritual world, the world beyond this material world, which is eternal, and has no birth or death or anything. And they come to this material world and they help us, like I was saying, to become liberated from this condition, this conditioned life where we're put under so many strict conditions and rules and laws, the strict laws of material nature, as Srila Prabhupada would call it. And so gradually we'll talk about all of these personalities and speak about their glories and how they came to remind us ultimately about what is our real position, what is our occupation, and how we can, again, really be happy. Srila Gurudeva, he would say that my mission is only that how you can be happy, how we can be happy. And that you should be happy now, in the future, and forever. And so, again, that's all anyone's looking for. And this is how people, they want to know how they can be happy. And so they think, again, making money will make me happy. Having money, having a very beautiful wife, having, so many material possessions, this will make me happy. But again, all of these things are material. And they're temporary. And they're flickering. And it's mixed with so much suffering. So Srila Prabhupada would say that we're looking for eternal happiness, that happiness which doesn't end. How can we be happy every moment? Because we find in this world that although we don't want suffering, still suffering is coming. And we don't want it to come, again, but it comes. And this is very painful. And we become so attached to things in this world. We become so attached to our bodies and to our positions in this world and who we are. And then we find that we build up all of these things, and someone, they may abuse us, and they may make fun of us, and they may attack us for who we think that we are, and then we feel very uncomfortable and very afraid, and it's a very unfortunate condition that we're in. And there's so much war and fighting and violence and abuse and anger and greed and so many things that we have to find some way to detach ourselves from all of these false identifications and false designations that we're putting on ourselves, and find a way that we can always feel that love and always feel that happiness. Srila Gurudeva, he would say that even if you do find a very beautiful girl and a very beautiful relationship, and you love each other and everything is very nice, even then, at the very least, either you will have to die first or she will have to die first. And then one or the other, they will feel so much suffering. And how you've given your heart to somebody, how are you then going to tolerate that separation from that person who was like your life and soul and everything? We all may understand something of what is love and have some sort of feeling associated with that, and how when you're in love, you feel so happy, and you have someone that, genuinely cares about you, and you have someone to care for. Our gurus, one of our instructing gurus by the name Sripad Premananda Prabhu, he writes that everybody, they want to be loved and they want to love someone else. And that's like a very sweet taste. And so we're all looking for that love and that sweetness and that relationship. We find in this world that it's very difficult for people to be alone, because no one is alone. We came into this world, it's said that we came into this world alone, but like my guru, Sripad Bhaktabandhav Srila Maharaj says, he says that we came into this world because of love, because two humans, they loved each other and they engaged in sex and they reproduced, and the sperm met the egg and fertilized and gradually grew into an embryo in the womb, and then that's how everyone was born, because of this this desire. And so anyhow, it's unfortunate that for whatever reason, that love, again, it doesn't last, because there's death. Everything is subject to death in this material world. And we find in society that there's so much divorce. Many people, after some time, whether it's a very short time or a long time, they get divorced from each other. And so Srila Gurudeva, he would say, if there was love in this world, like real love and true love, then why is there divorce? If these two people, they came together and they felt that love, why would they ever separate? Why would they lose affection for each other? And why would they want to hurt the other person and leave them and not always be there to look out for them and care for them and be there for them in so many ways? And so, again, that's a product of lust. That's a product of... Srila Prabhupada, he would say, that the love of this world is like an agreement where two people, they agree, okay, I will satisfy your senses and you will satisfy my senses. And Srila Gurudeva also says like this: as soon as the other person cannot satisfy the senses of the other person, then there is frustration and then there's divorce. Srila Gurudeva would say, if a wife is not serving a husband very nicely and fulfilling all of the husband's desires, then immediately they leave that person and they try to find someone else who will satisfy their needs and their desires in whatever way, shape, or form that takes. And the same thing, as soon as a husband isn't fulfilling the desires of the wife, perhaps the wife has a certain desire for a certain standard of living, so much money, so many children, so many different desires to go here or there or whatever it may be. As soon as the husband can't fulfill that anymore, or there's not enough variety, or there's not enough enjoyment, maybe she gets bored and then she cheats on him and finds somebody else who can fulfill all of those desires. And so that's why they say that really there's no love in this world, because love is completely unconditional. That no matter what, I'm going to completely sacrifice even my own happiness and my own pleasure and my own comfort and all of my own ideas to please the other person and satisfy them and care about them and figure out what they want and try and give them happiness. And this is a very deep topic and a very deep subject, and it's a very beautiful thing to think about. Srila Gurudeva would always say that the philosophy that we are following, the philosophy that is preached and is spoken about in the Vedas and all of our scriptures, is the philosophy of love. And the quality of various gradations of love. There's a certain kind of love with a certain kind of mood, and then, there's deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and ever increasing levels of love that keeps on getting more and more thick and more intense. And so, we find that we don't love everyone equally. We might have more love for our friends than we do a random stranger on the street, and we treat them differently. We have a certain relationship with our friends. We might love our family more than we do our friends, because it's like a reciprocal relationship. I love you, you love me. There's one song about that somewhere, maybe it's from Barney or something. I love you, you love me, something. Anyhow, this is the philosophy of love. We might have more love then for our wife or our children than we do our mother or our father, because there's that, there's a sense of security and a sense of safety and a sense of happiness that comes when you're in the presence of somebody who isn't trying to take from you and isn't trying to exploit you and isn't trying to extract all of your energy and drain you. And they're actually trying to nourish you. They're actually trying to support you and help you and give you happiness. This is very rare in this world, to find that kind of selfless love and selfless dedication between two persons. And so eventually we try to find it in this world, and we always come up short. We can never quite find a person who doesn't judge us and doesn't criticize us, and it completely accepts us for who we are, and is always going to be there for us through thick and thin, and will never leave us, and is only interested in our happiness. There's always, Srila Gurudeva, he would say that everyone has some sort of self-interest. We get into a relationship with anyone because we think that this will benefit me somehow. And if that's not happening, if we're not getting that benefit, then we leave that and we try and find some place else and somewhere else, someone else that we can, that will fulfill all of our desires and all of our needs and all of our requirements that we have, whatever they may be. But if we really want to find that, then we have to look towards the Supreme Lord. We have to look towards God. We have to look towards Krishna. And that's the main point that many people are missing. We can just ask the question, how is this world here? Someone must have created this world. How is this, why are we in these bodies, these human forms? And what is the meaning of it all? And it's Srila Gurudev, he would say so much, you know, something cannot come from nothing. If there was nothing, then how is there something now? And these are very inconceivable things to think about. And so Srila Gurudev would say that God is not formless. God is a person. God is a person that we can talk to directly, just like we talk to our mother or our father or other people in this world. God has a personality. God has activities that he performs. God has qualities. God has, so many things that he's doing, and he has a place where he lives. He has a mother and a father. As it said, Srila Gurudev, he always says that in the Bible, God made man in his own image. And so we have been, these bodies that we have now in this human form of life, they've been created in the image of God. And so we should know, as Srila Gurudev says, that God is not formless. And we are not these material bodies. This material body is temporary. Right now, we may be a man or, identify as such. We may be in the body of a woman, a female, or, we may have blonde hair, we may have blue hair, blue eyes, black skin, so many different things. We may have a certain position, we may have a certain job, and identify as that. I am a, high schooler, I'm a college graduate, I'm this, I'm that. And we put all of these temporary designations on ourselves. But the inquisitive person begins to think, okay, who am I really? If I was like that when I was young, if I was a child and I was like this and like that, and I was thinking, I was this tall, so I'm short, but now I'm this tall, or I was weak and now I'm strong, or I was dumb, now I'm intelligent. What is my eternal identification? Now I'm old, now I'm dying, now I'm this, I'm that. Who are we really forever? And then after we die, where do we go? And what is our eternal position? Does everything just stop? Do we merge into nothingness? What is the meaning of doing anything then? And so these are all questions for another day. And gradually, through hearing from Srila Gurudev, we can come to understand so many of these things. And I myself am also on the journey, and I'm also practicing. I'm not perfect. I'm not realized in any of these things. I'm also hearing about them, and it very much helps to discuss them with other people and meditate on all of these things and try and follow all these teachings in our lives so that we can have some realization of who is God, who is Krishna, what is our relationship with God. Srila Gurudev would say that God means G-O-D, generator, operator, destroyer. So God is that person, right, who's creating this whole world. He's maintaining and operating everything, and he's destroying everything eventually, and then creating it again, and then maintaining and destroying it again, like an eternal cycle of birth and death. And so there's so many things to say. This world is like Durga. This world is like a prison. And We're here because we think that we can be separate from Krishna and enjoy separately from him, or even take his position and become God ourselves. Many people are thinking that they are God, or that there is no God, or that everything and everyone is God. And so there's so many things to think about, and Srila Gurudev has given us all of the answers to this question. Our whole line of guru and disciple, all the way up to Krishna himself, who's giving this knowledge to Lord Brahma, the creator of this universe, secondarily, and passing that knowledge down of what is reality. That's all in the Vedas. So I'm extremely excited and extremely happy to be able to start sharing this knowledge with anyone else. And I'm very grateful, especially if you've made it to the end of this video and heard my ramblings. This is my first time doing this. I hope that I can continue to do this, and that I can get more and more comfortable and more clear in my communication, and try and help other people as much as possible to understand all of Srila Gurudev's teachings and hear all of his teachings and inspire them and inspire myself as much as possible to follow them and practice them in their lives, in my life, so that we can achieve our goals. Every human being, every living entity has some goal. And again, many people, they want to be happy. And so they have so many other goals that they think will help them achieve that happiness. And so we'll hear more about the process of how we can achieve that. And I'm extremely excited to keep sharing this for anyone who's interested, and reading from Srila Gurudev's lectures that he gave all throughout his travels in the Western world. So we're so fortunate to have this knowledge, and I hope that I can transmit it and communicate it in a way that's helpful for other people. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe.